Thank you very much. Welcome to the opening of the academic year 2019-2020. Our program today is about science, engineering, but also the university in a whole, and we try to experiment, and also the music today was somewhat experimental, but I can promise you at the end of the day we're going to hear Ode an der Freude, and I will tell you a little bit later about these musicians and what they do. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let me first welcome you again, dear Governor Bovens, members of the regional government, dear Mayor Pen ter Strake, members of the city administration, dear representatives of governments from the Netherlands and abroad, dear rectors, colleagues from partner universities, dear members of the university's student staff, alumni, the supervisory board, and last but not least, dear guests from Maastricht, Limburg, on beyond. Welcome on behalf also of my colleagues, Rector Jan Letchert and Vice President Nix Bos. Ladies and gentlemen, the opening of the academic year is to project optimism and discussing the way ahead. That's what we always have done here. It's a bit more difficult to do this year, as we have experienced or are expecting some dramatic changes to the higher education landscape in the Netherlands. First of all, the recent decision to shift existing budgets towards technical universities at the expense of others is a bit of a threat to the balance of subjects that form the core of the university. Universitas, comprehensiveness. It is understandable that students and staff alike, the core members of our academic community, are worried about this today. And at this hour, more than 1,000 of them are attending an alternative opening of the academic year in Leiden to express their concern. We have all the understanding that science and engineering is important, and we will talk about this also today, but let's this be a common mission and something we do within the university, within the comprehensiveness of universities, and not in an isolated way. In any way, we share the worries of students and staff, and I think we must together find a solution against one-sided budget shifts, or the famous Siga uit eigen doos, as we say in Dutch, that is really a threat to the basic understanding and the basic philosophy of universities. And let us also be clear that we will do everything in our power here in Maastricht to maintain a healthy and fair balance between all disciplines at our university. There's yet another development that worries us. Rumors has it that the Netherlands will put restrictions on internationalization of universities, going against the trend of many other countries that are considering the international profile of universities as a societal need. A societal need because the influx of the skills of international talent is deemed essential for economic wealth and societal health. We are carefully watching the developments in the Netherlands, but at the same time join the discussion and make it very clear that we continue on our chosen path of an international and European profile, which is the DNA of our university. But after all, my role here is not to complain, but also to explain why our university should claim a special position in these discussions, a role that is based on our tradition, our current strategy, and our future development. In this context, I would like to introduce our institutional profile as that of a social university. What is a social university? It is a university that is not simply studying society from the outside. It is an institution deeply rooted and embedded in society. There are role models for this. I've recently talked to my colleagues from Arizona State University and was impressed by their mission statement, which reads as follows. We are a comprehensive public research university, measured not by whom it excludes, but by whom it includes and how they succeed. Advancing research and discovery of public value and assuming fundamental responsibility for the economic, social, cultural, and overall health of the communities we serve. I think this is a mission statement that could also be applied to our university, where the communities we serve have different dimensions, from the regional to the European to the international context. I also would invite the decision makers in The Hague to look more closely to the pragmatic and special way in which our university responds to the many opportunities that exist in Europe for the Netherlands in a spectrum that goes from the local to the international stage and back. Abroad, I'm regularly asked why our university is so visible in Europe. My answer, first of all, Maastricht University is of great importance for the region and the city of Maastricht, for example, as one of its largest employers. And that we have, with our partners, the province of Limburg, the communities, and other partners from industries, built the Brightlands campuses, who are seen as a best practice example by many international colleagues how to develop triple helix strategies. It is this close interaction and the mutual understanding that joining forces as a region and province provides a critical mass, economic success, and international and recognition. Social and cultural well-being are linked to economic health. As a university, we therefore are on the lookout for matches with the business community, often located on the Fort Brightland campuses, but also beyond in our province. On these campuses in Maastricht, Heerlen, Sittard, Geleen, and Venlo, the government's top sector policy is translated into educational institutions and businesses. On the Brightland campuses, transfers take place from idea to the market. The university is therefore an important driving force in this respect. The figures from the report, Inventory and Added Value of Campuses in the Netherlands, a study published last year by Buck Consultants International on behalf of, among others, our Ministry of Economic Affairs, shows that this approach by Maastricht University and its partners is successful. The report concludes that this university is one of the driving forces behind economic development in Limburg, and that the societal and social relevance of the university has been great since its foundation in 1976 and is still growing. As I've said earlier, a good interaction and a joint agenda with our regional government has been essential for this success. Because of this profile, the Dutch government should think how it can facilitate interactions between regions and universities even more. Germany, for example, takes a radical approach in this context. It is the Länder, the states, which play a central role in the allocation of funding for a university in our neighboring country. Although this system would be impossible to implement in the Netherlands, the needs of the region, the provinces, as partners of universities could be strengthened. In Limburg, we have shown that a joint strategy between these partners, as embodied in our concept, has been proven successful and complementary to the national agenda for the benefit of the citizens of our region, directly and indirectly. But we have to think further than that. Knowledge is increasingly proving to be the product of international trade. Limburg is, of course, in a special position here, a Dutch province that has more borders with Germany and Belgium than contact with the rest of the Netherlands. Limburg, therefore, has a natural international orientation. These regional developments, therefore, cannot be seen isolated, but interact with the international dimension, as I said earlier. Reaching out to the regions across the border and in Europe as a whole adds another important dimension. We therefore have a unique position based on 3 pillars at Maastricht University. We are a Dutch university with regional impact and European and international outreach, focusing on the needs of the citizen in a socially responsible way. Internationalization, ladies and gentlemen, offers opportunities in many areas. It forms citizens of the world who find a career in a labor market that is becoming increasingly international. In addition, it ensures that more and more knowledge workers remain in the Netherlands and thus form a counterbalance to the aging of the population and the fact that the regions are shrinking in number. In short, it is also a societal necessity to embrace internationalization. Our new UFA Alliance, a university alliance that we just received funding for, will extend this concept and the Brightland strategy to other European regions. We strongly believe that a social university can generate an impact well beyond the individual and a long-lasting one that will strengthen society. This is the reason why I've worked to build the Youth Alliance, a consortium of young research-intensive universities that has recently been recognized as a frontrunner by the European Commission in the context of its first call of the European Universities Initiative. YUFE is the acronym for Young Universities for the Future of Europe and is an alliance of 8 young universities who share our vision and mission. The association has recently been funded by this large grant and received a very high score. We came together with universities from Madrid, Rome, Antwerp, Bremen, Essex in the UK, Cyprus, and Eastern Finland, and a number of associated partners to create a new concept, how a true European university should look like, and how it can affect regions in a positive way. In our vision, the goal is to create one university on 8 locations in the future, where students and staff can not only move freely back and forth, but also have a chance to engage in the respective regions in close contact with and to the benefit of their citizens. This will bring talented young people from other youth locations to Limburg to work in the economic, social, or academic sector by, for example, on the Brightlands campuses or in social projects. At the same time, Maastricht students can explore similar opportunities on the other locations of YUFE and gain important experiences in a university context, but also in real-life situations. YUFE is committed to excellence, not to elitism. That is why we have joined forces with Chiron, a German NGO that uses digital tools to help young people to be admissible to university, young people that come from first-generation families or those that are economically challenged, and in different regions that's the case, as well as refugees. A social university is a university that is inclusive and also listens to the needs of its surroundings. YUFE, therefore, has the ambition to form the first truly European university, a university that is citizen-oriented and that focuses on its societal and social mission, and mostly on its social responsibility as an institution. As an international knowledge institution, Maastricht University will continue to opt for a cross-border approach. We have no choice either. The traditional distinction between regional and international is increasingly giving way to the realization that these issues of the future, sustainability, energy transition, circularity, and digitization cannot be confined within a single country. It would be a good thing if the Netherlands were to follow more closely the specific way in which we respond to the many opportunities and challenges that lie ahead. Not from a centralist perspective, but from a point of view of, forgive me to use my German language, Weltoffenheit. The Netherlands should honor the specific role of UM's contribution to the regional economic infrastructure and to Europe. Therefore, and based on the needs of our region on both sides of the border and beyond, we need to address these needs of our immediate context. One approach is that we are working inter- and transdisciplinary across the borders of disciplines. The interdisciplinary Bachelor of Digital Society is just one example for this development. Another one is the exciting development around the Einstein telescope, where in collaboration with virtually all universities of the Benelux region, we will build a unique infrastructure to study gravitational waves, a project with far-reaching scientific but also societal implications. This will also be one of the thematic focus areas of this afternoon. Also the way we envisage what's the Maastricht approach to science and engineering, but also I want to make sure that we will not, as I said earlier, neglect other disciplines, but we should strengthen them in the collaborative spirit of a comprehensive university. Humanities, social sciences, and medicine will therefore remain strong pillars of our profile. In conclusion, the unique international and European profile of Maastricht University and its specific societal mission should not be called into question. Maastricht University embraces the European idea. With our youth partners, we have the ambition to be the first European university in the Netherlands. For the simple reasons that we are a bridge to Europe. We are located in the far south of the Netherlands, but centrally in Europe. Unlike, for example, Amsterdam, Leiden, and Rotterdam. By the way, Rotterdam may have won the contest to host the Eurovision song competition, but Maastricht has won the contest to host the first university in Europe, the first European university of the Netherlands. A success that can prove even more sustainable and future-oriented. As former Prime Minister and Rotterdammer, Ruud Lubbers once put it, Maastricht is de uitgestoken hand van Nederland naar Europa. A striking formula that, at least abroad, makes it clear what our mission is. A social university embedded in the region, but ready to build the bridges between Maastricht, Limburg, the Netherlands, and Europe, based on the ideas of inclusiveness, mutual understanding, by overcoming hostility and misunderstanding. And I think, in coming back to my beginning, why I addressed the issues, why many of our colleagues protesting in Leiden, I think we also have to continue the dialogue in the Netherlands, how we make sure that our higher education system remains competitive also in the future. Because if we don't, maybe in a few years, in the next European ranking system of universities, the answer may be les Pays-Bas, 0 point. Thank you very much. Thank you. And now we go into our program. We have a lot of different highlights. And the first one I would like to announce a speaker, also which proves a good link to our yearly morning programs. As you know, in the morning of the academic years, it has become a tradition that we let ourselves inspire by students, staff from our university bring out new ideas. And last year we had this wonderful morning program looking at action research, particularly in the context of the many challenges of university and sustainable development goals. Today we had a morning program which was also very inspiring, where we looked at how we can explain science to people in society who are normally not exposed to science. And just to show you that this is not an exercise that we do for the fun of it, we really try to follow up on these activities and make them sustainable within the university. And to show you a bit of that, also reflecting on the success of what we did last year, I would now like to introduce the winner of last year's morning program competition on action research, Dr. Marika Hoffman.
Good afternoon. Let me start by saying that I am very happy and proud and excited to be part of a social university like Maastricht University. Back in the day when I was trying to decide what to do with my life, specifically as concerns employment, I realized that over my life, most likely I will be spending many, many hours at work. So I figured that of all those many hours, I might as well do something useful. Specifically knowing that there are so many issues in the world, as we all know very well. And of course, these issues demand our attention. And with my personal talents, but also limitations, I decided that for me that meant to try and become a researcher and to work on children's rights in particular. Then fast forward, I actually think this was 2 years ago, but I might be wrong. During the opening of the academic year, indeed, there was an action research competition. I participated, and the prize money enabled me to go back to the Central African Republic, where I had done a research on the child's right to education, and to discuss with local stakeholders such as politicians, teachers, and also children, the outcome of this research. But also very importantly, during this opening of the academic year, I met all these other researchers and support staff at Maastricht University who apparently were also very eager to have social impact with their work. And this was really refreshing because we met and we found out that actually we were struggling with very similar things. So, for example, how do you find funding to create this social impact of your research? Or how do you engage with media? Or how do you find the relevant community and engage them into your research? And of course, there's also a chance to meet and speak to Professor Paul, who I kind of cornered in the hallway, and I asked him, can we organize something for these people at Maastricht University who are eager to have more social impact? And he really liked the idea. We wrote a proposal, and finally, last spring, we received 2-year startup funding from Zwolle Maastricht University Fund. This means that I can now proudly say that we have established the Maastricht Platform for Community-Engaged Research. And we would be very happy to invite you all to become a member of this platform. We have also made a short video to introduce the platform to you, which I will show now.
Community-engaged research means having conversations with people.
Science, communication, and society.
Community-engaged research means knowledge that benefits the public.
Collective intelligence.
Community-engaged research means involvement with society.
Impact on people's lives.
Community-engaged research means collaboration.
For me, it means creating an impact with society.
Co-creation.
It is about the partnership with the stakeholders.
Indoor air pollution due to cooking is a major problem in India. We collaborate with the local community to develop and disseminate improved cook stoves. In our project, it is essential to work together in order to reach higher levels of acceptance and to obtain sustainable results.
Crowd stimulates the interaction between researchers and society, and it also facilitates the understanding of a complex academic world at Maastricht University.
In May, Queen of Arts gave us the connection between companies and research at Maastricht University.
Community-engaged research is important because we are creating value by engaging the people in Elslo in asking questions that are addressing their needs.
It is about taking the knowledge, wisdom and experiences of people living in disadvantaged communities very seriously, because this is the only basis for successfully co-designing healthy and caring cities.
Our goal is to bring together everyone at Maastricht University who is passionate about research that could change society. So, are you also eager to have social impact?
Join us!
Thank you. So the last thing I have to say to you is to invite you to the official launch of the Maastricht Platform for Community-Engaged Research, which will take place on the 3rd of October in the Lumière Theatre. And you can sign up by either clicking the link in the Maastricht University newsletter or on the link on the internet, or you can send us an email at mpcer@maastrichtuniversity.nl. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marika. It was in 2017. It just shows you how time flies sometimes. And also it shows you that the nice thing about this university, we keep inspiring each other, because the idea of the social mission of the university is also something that is embodied by this initiative. Thank you very much. But now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the main program point this afternoon. As you know, our university is embarking to expand its mission by also increasing its presence in science and engineering with some very exciting projects and some very exciting developments. In 1916, Albert Einstein originally presented the existence of gravitational waves, adding that they probably would be very, very hard to detect. 100 years later, our next speaker has really been presenting with his colleagues the first observation of gravitational waves ever, a major scientific event and a major scientific breakthrough. He's a co-founder and former director of the United States National Facility for Gravitational Wave Research, LIGO, which managed to do what Einstein himself doubted was possible. 1 year later, he took a plane to Stockholm to receive the medal every scientist secretly dreams about. We are honored to have this Nobel laureate here today to introduce us to the fascinating field of research